Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, how's everybody doing tonight? I gotta get past my 30 seconds so I don't get sniffed out as quick. But anyway, uh, Joe, you saw my thumbnail. Joe's got to go. Joe's got to go. I think everybody knows that. Change of batter. I just got another notification, two of them from Google. Goggle says same things. It says there's going to be a big upload with Twitter. Although I've never seen that happen yet. But anyway, we'll see what happens if there's ever going to be a big upload with Twitter. So anyway, I got change of batter soon. I mean, they can't sustain this. The condition Joe's in, the fire they're under. There are a lot of people turning on Joe and the White House itself. So how long can they sustain it, and what are they going to do? And, of course, Mr. T told us when he was in Waco. When he was at the Alamo, that the 25th Amendment wasn't his problem. It was Joe's problem. So we know something's going to be given soon. A lot of us are of the mind that the 2024 election is probably a little much to ask for going through successfully. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Tyne. Hi, Tennessee. Thank you for helping me out last night, buddy. I appreciate it. Melinda, how are you? B-Dog. Lucy, Debbie. We've got everybody rolling in. So anyway, this business with cuties is and versus Sound of Freedom is really catching a lot of people's attention. We'll go over that too. I mean, what kind of outfit would sit there and attack a movie like this? And a lot of us are just finding out that it's been out for a while, even though many of us have seen clips of it and previews for a couple of years. It was completed. Caviezel said a while back there have been 5 years, so it's between 5 and 6 years. But Disney had some kind of contractual headlock on that with the promise that they were really seriously thinking about putting the movie out. And, of course, it was a stall tactic. But as we went over the drops yesterday, I covered a couple of drops. In 2017, we had it all laid out there right for us. Who the special agent was that the true story is based on. We even read an article that in 2017 about a different operation, where the smugglers were actually caught in the act and showed pictures of them laying there on the ground, and they were going to jail. So anyway, if you want to check that out, it was last night's broadcast. So anyway, let me just see who's rolling in. I want to say my hellos. Thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. And thank you everybody who watches the stream after the live stream. And if you want to be part of the chats, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. I never know when I'm going to go live. Hi, Mary. How are you? And thank you for sponsoring my program about a week ago. And Tennessee sponsored last night's program. And Gary, he's been sponsoring my shows too. So anyway, I appreciate everybody for doing that. Let's see. Rick, how are you doing? Doc. Henri, how are you? Mary and Debbie. And Nikki said, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Yes, please. Hi, Lucy. Give me a thumbs up. It'll help the videos get around. Tennessee said, I've been talking to a lot of people about the Sound of Freedom and what it's about. Many have been surprised and are going to go see it. Well, that's great. Word of mouth is what they said is really the driving force behind movies. It's always been. Like when Star Wars came out in, what was it, 78? Uh, it just talk, talk, talk. Kids going to school. Mom and dad took me to see Star Wars. What Star Wars? Blah, blah, blah. Because all over, word of mouth has always been the best advertisement. Hi, Joy. How are you? Sharon, Jersey Joe. Hi, David. How are you doing? So everybody's rolling in. Hi, Mike from Idaho. Joy's here. B-Dog. Yeah, they buried it, and that is no surprise. They don't want to tell on themselves. You know that. Well, we're going to tell on them. We're going to tell on them. And I tell you, it's, you know, they have to watch every time Trump gives a speech or has a rally. And boy, I tell you, what a hard-working man. I mean, gives a speech, gives a rally, then gives a speech. Then he goes to the Dana White's venue there. And word is that he met with Roger Stone and Mel Gibson backstage during that event. But I got some memes and stuff I'll go over. Hi, Debbie. AMC monkeying around. 13 BLT 13. Nice to see you, buddy. And I'm glad you like my point of view. I listened to the audio, Mr. T, about those papers. I don't know if anyone caught it, but, oops, my chats are jumping around. At the start, we say, here, let me see that. And then, whoops. And then I thought with all, okay, well, I see what you're saying. You know, he said, let me see that. He took the newspaper where they were reporting the prior week, the New York Post, the stuff that was supposed to be really confidential. Well, how'd the New York Post find out about it? Trump didn't tell them. How you doing, Mike? 1176. Hi, Tyne. How are you? Yeah, the one article was only out for a week, and him and his aide were discussing it. Hi, David. Hi, Em. So, anyway, let me see. I tell you, one of the things that are coming out, I put in there AMMO, and I used a 0 for the last O, for the O in the AMMO, because that's a word that gets me in trouble. So I use a 0, the number 0 instead of an O, and that throws the rhythm off. See how I did that in my title? Remember that in the chat, so there are keywords don't get picked up. Hi, Larry. How are you? Hi, Cliff. That's right. Yeah, we can't just have the elites be whipping boys or whipping girls. We got to blame it on all the politicians. I mean, after all this stuff that's been going on and being put out, and that's, you know, your local politicians too, your state senator, your representatives, all these people can't blame the, quote, elites and act like they didn't know what was going on. That's a very good point. And that's another reason why I think we've got a long march ahead of us. You know, we may not be able to complete a proper selection event in 2024, but 2024 is coming and something's going to happen. We're going to have to deal with it. Hello, brighter day. How are you? So, yeah, Mr. T said, people got to learn a lesson. And he's not just talking about the baddies. They're going to learn, they're going to be more than learning a lesson. Okay? They're going to have to cope with whatever the law prescribes as far as punishment. Okay? But the American people need to learn a lesson too. Not just the American people. People around the world are learning a hell of a lesson that if you don't pay attention to politics. Politics is going to pay attention to you. And if you don't take responsibility for your own affairs in your life, somebody else will take responsibility from you. That's the bottom line. So let me see what I got going on here. The thing they're going to bring up next, or they're already in the process of bringing it up, is, as we know, aliens, right? So, okay, people can believe in that if they want to. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about it. Either way, but I know for this situation, it's a distraction. I just want to remind people they can, and they did, project a hologram of the Titanic into a football stadium. And people could have sworn, sitting in the bleachers looking down at this huge hulking piece of Titanic that these computers generated, that there was really a wrecked ship on the field. A big blob of a Titanic sitting on the field. Just remember that when they show stuff. But anyway, this is the closest picture I could find. I thought I had it in my studio handy of the Titanic sitting inside a ball field. They took a picture of it. But anyway, this is close enough. By the way, this is one that Mr. T posted. Resting after a good 25 minutes of work. There he is. Yeah, the Titanic. Anyway, so keep that in mind. And I brought that up before about Queen Elizabeth being projected with Charles up in the sky over top of the UK, where people could see this huge 2-mile across projection. So keep that stuff in mind, folks, because that's the next thing I'll be coming up with. Just a little something if you're struggling with your diet. You look at that and you won't want that bowl ice cream. Mike says dollar has to fall first. Well, it's creaking and who knows when that's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to happen quick. On the Nadler diet, B-Dog said, yeah. Hi, Starfire. How are you doing? Angela, how are you? Gloria. We got, let's see. Who else coming in? Hi, Larry. How are you? So, if I forgot it, if I missed anybody, I don't forget people. I missed them. Hi, Donna. How are you? So anyway, this is not a hologram, by the way. Jersey Joe said lost sound and chat disappeared. Huh. Well, hopefully that won't happen again. So, let's see. What is this one now I got up here? Oh, well, let's see what backfires in this old fool's face this week. Let's go B. Randon. Ha, 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 ha. Hi, Debbie. So, Joe's in the hot seat. I don't know how long he's going to be there. Could be a month. Something could happen tomorrow. Could be 6 months. But I tell you what I think they're planning on. One of the things that it's moves and counter moves. People say, trust the plan. Well, like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face. You got to have moves, counter moves, all ships going in the same direction, working together, because they have moves and counter moves too, and you got to be ready for it. So there isn't anything written down, say you do X, you do Y. People that go to the 17th post and say, oh, look, this happened today, and it coincided with a post on the same day 5 years ago, so they knew. No. That's, we discussed that yesterday. But I did say in my thumbnail, ammo is expensive. Okay, it is. And I've talked about how the many ways they're funneling money to finance this illegal psychological warfare campaign. And a lot of it is teetering. So, as you know, George Soros is retired and handed the reins over to his son. And I've had this in the studio for a while, but I haven't been able to put it up. But George Soros Foundation cuts 40% of staff just 1 month after the 92-year-old billionaire handed over the reins. So, yeah, they've got to keep these people, okay, who think like men who think they can lactate, all right, angry theys running around with purple and pink hair. They got to give them jobs, all right, or just give them money somehow through some kind of program, or put them on like Twitter, firing 80% of the useless staff that was only being utilized by the three-letter agencies to tamp down our discussions. All that stuff is falling apart. Somebody's got to put food in their mouth. Somebody's got to pay for their hormone treatment. Somebody's got to pay for this new stuff they're prescribing to make men lactate. Oh, can you believe this? The CDC said, yes, transgender men can lactate. And so there is a tremendous loss of rationality. And you got to, hey, if you don't subsidize them or find some programs, some government jobs or tech jobs that have been taken over by these companies that do the ESG stuff, what are you going to do? I mean, there's your army. Caesar said, Napoleon said, our army marches on its stomach. You got to feed him. You got to pay him. And that is withering away. I'm trying to look at that one meme I put up that discussed, I could say disgusting, but discussed this issue and a young lady's opinion of this male lactating business. Here's something I had from last week as an example. Let me get rid of that punk kid, and I'll put it up. How their infiltration of government positions through whatever kind of pressure. This would be an interesting video for you to watch. But I'll tell you the quick story behind it. The person you see in the background is the significant other of the person in the foreground, okay? Namely, they have the L part of the alphabet. And the one in the front is a mayor of a town, and the one in the back was working for Health and Human Services, Child Protective Services. And they were wreaking havoc on people that did not agree with that kind of lifestyle, or weren't rainbow flag waving people, or in the case of the woman standing behind the one in the foreground, did not do favors for them, if you know what I mean. They would find single mothers, try to cozy up to them. If they got rejected, they made moves to take their children away. I'm not kidding you. So, these people in a real world, okay, in an honest government, in a responsible business, just by their attitudes, okay, and the what they exude when they talk and look at people, deal with people, they could not get a job in the real world. But you get these little governments to put them in place, You finance their campaigns. People vote with, one eye open, half open, the other one closed, half asleep. They don't pay attention. Next thing you know, you got characters like this in there. So that might be something you want to watch. Give you a good example of how they finance these Marxist operations. But anyway, they're going to be running into a lot more expense. This is something else I didn't get to put up. A lot of you have heard of it, but don't forget it. Trump sues E. Jean Carroll for defamation. Okay? Somebody put her up to this crazy stunt, and how the judges could, and I say judges in the plural, the ones who let appeals go by, the ones who make these rulings, that some 30-year-old accusation with no date, time, and location could get somebody $5 million. Crazy stuff like that. Didn't come cheap, but they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and Trump is going to be hitting back. And here, Robert Kavoya did a good story on too, and I've talked about him in the past before too. Trump countersues E.G. Carroll for defamation, and it's in the millions. So when you have friends that say, "Oh, he got in trouble for RAPE," well, just remind them they're the same ones that were going, "Oh, Stormy Daniels, here comes Stormy. Stormy's going to get Trump. Stormy's going to get Trump and really hit him where it hurts." Well, she owes him, what, $500,000? He's going to collect, okay? So the same ones who are saying, "Oh, E. Jean Carroll, yeah," she's going to pay too. So you start getting their little minions and hitting them in the pocketbook. They got to get some more ammunition from somewhere, and it ain't cheap, and it's expensive. So, and that's in the 17th letter. They say ammo is expensive. And a lot of it means for FFs, if we know what I'm talking about. But it also means for these types of lawfare operations. So, and here's another story. I'm at about the 20-minute mark. If you want to come back and look at these, and then watch them later on. You heard about this state senator keying somebody's car, and he got caught. He got arrested. You don't hear about it in the news. If it was a Republican, you would. But the young guy, had a Biden sucks bumper sticker. Big deal. He came out from grocery shopping and caught this guy running the key down the side of his car, a nice vehicle, SUV. So he right away says, I thought he was a gun nut that was picking on me, and I just walked away. I didn't say anything to him, but I didn't do it. And then said, "Hey, we got a video of you doing it." Okay? So he came clean. His wife was hollering down the steps, "What's going on?" "Well, I got to go downtown." So anyway, you don't hear anything from this in the news. But, yeah, it's getting out and needs to be spread around. I would share this video with a friend who's a Democrat. Just say, "Here, take a look at this. What do you think of that?" And here's another meme that I didn't get to share. That people have got to start thinking about. Who is this? Neil Johnson put this up. Neil Johnson. She said, "I'm seeing a trend here. Colorado spring." This was on YouTube, so it didn't get taken down. Colorado spring shooter, Denver shooter, Aberdeen shooter, Nashville, Philadelphia. See what the common theme is? And he just put this up like day before yesterday. I'm thinking, what about the Uvalde one? Okay. Well, don't forget about the Uvalde one. Don't forget about the 4th of July parade person that did that, pulled that trigger. Okay. So it's at least, it's over half a dozen. Over half a dozen. But anyway, I was going to be talking about this thing right here when I was pulling that stuff. This was a couple of days ago. Breaking BLM supporter Kim Brady Watson Carricker named as suspect in what happened in Philadelphia. 5 people, right? And I said, man, gosh, let me see what I'm looking at here. I said, what in the world is that? I didn't know that it was a TRAN, you know? I said, good gosh. Somebody went and got a facelift and they stretched it too far, did something. I don't know. But anyway, then I found out this person, you know, added, I guess, Kim to the front. And the real name is a male name. And now they're saying he's not. He's just a cross-dresser. And you all pick on him. You're making the world dangerous. Dangerous for people who are TRANs, right? Oh, we're making the world dangerous for them, okay? See, here they go. Cross-dresses, but is biologically male. So they're throwing this stuff out here, and down is up is down. And, well, I mean, I might as well go ahead and show you this. What they're doing, they're muddying all the waters, especially for the young kids. This is on UTizzle. And I had another one. I didn't get a screenshot of it, but it was kids that they're already having a hard enough time. They feel awkward. They don't know how to interact. There's been an identity crisis shoved in young people's faces for the last 20 years, at least since Mike Shell and Barry got in office. That's when they started this stuff. And they kicked in the afterburners after they got the health care passed and took control of the health care. So they could prescribe medicine, make pharmaceutical companies rich, doctors rich, and make children dysphoric. Okay? Now, you got them already suffering with that enough. Before they started all this stuff, being a young kid just coming into your own was confusing and stressful enough. But now we've got this. You're feeling lonely and isolated. You're looking for a non-judgmental listener. Of course, they got to put the little bunny ears on there. I already did a video on that, how they're pushing that stuff that one girl was doing, okay? Being involved with animals instead of humans. All right, denying your own humanity by arguing with God over your gender, okay? So here's signs you need a replica AI. You want to talk to someone but can't open up to friends and family. That's every teenager in the world. Nobody understands me. Anybody who's raised teenagers knows that stuff. So they're hitting all these points every kid goes through, but they're saying the answer is this garbage here. You're curious about AI and how it can benefit your life. You're an introvert who prefers communicating online. Oh yeah, everybody go get educated from home computers because of the PLAN, okay, demic. So, of course, they're going to be introverted. Or you're in search of a companion that is personalized and customized. Okay? A cross between the Disney character you liked when you were a kid and whatever kind of crap they've pumped into your head when you go to school. This is right. It's on right here. You can get on Utizzle Replica, my AI friend, world's first GPT AI friend. Isn't that nice? So this kind of stuff, hey, anybody under the age of the majority that has access to this site and other sites, these types of things should not be permitted. If you can't have Joe Camel, okay, they outlawed Joe Camel for advertising unhealthy stuff toward kids. You get in big trouble if you use cartoon images and stuff like that. Same thing with these platforms. That's right. Nikki said, "Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone." So, I'm going to just look through the chats because I've been talking. Yeah, I know, Lone Wolf. I wish it was the 70s too. Boy, what I would do if I knew now what knew then what I know now. If I knew then what I know now. But anyway, none of us saw this coming this bad. I thought that they'd be doing this stuff 20 years after I was gone. Yeah, it'll be grown men. Well, they already are, Nikki. I mean, they already are. They've been giving up human relations for a long time, since the 70s when they started out with easy access to pornography. Okay, but hey, don't worry. At least they banned plastic straws in California. So, hey, things are looking up, right? Hi, Sherry. How are you doing? Hi, Steve. So, let's see. How are they going to get rid of Joe? And what are they? I'm sure that most everybody in the chats right now heard that they tried to pin this cocaine on Kamala, right? I'm sure you all have heard that. There's rumors going around that it was Kamala's, and that's not really cocaine. It's like I put it on my thumbnail. I think it was last night. Crack den at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, and I said, don't be too hard on Hunter with all the crazies they got running around the White House. Well, they're trying to pin it on Kamala, right? Now, why does that make sense? If they get rid of Joe and Kamala gets in the big chair, as they say, can you see any scenario where they can have plausible deniability about there being problems with her winning? If you know what I mean? Is there any way they can construct in people's minds psychologically that she can win? No, of course not. Hi, Outlandish Patriot. So you can't get rid of Joe and put Kamala in because there's no way you could convince the majority of the population that she would win against Trump. What are the solutions? What are the scenarios? Here's what's going all around the world about her right here. On top of everything else, the cackling and laughing and everything. Here, take a listen to this.
Kamala Harris had some profound words about culture. What is culture? Well, it went about as well as you'd expect.
Well, I think culture is it is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment. And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning. We have to find ways to also express the way we feel about the moment in terms of just having language and a connection to how people are experiencing life. And I think about it in that way too.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to run cover for. But I want to point out something. Everybody knows Joe's been at the beach, right? His puppet master, okay, is in Greece, right? With Tom Hanks. Remember? I went over that. Joe. So Joe goes and look there. Joe Biden literally looking like looking embalmed on Delaware Beach. So, Obama, I showed pictures of that where Obama was meeting with Tom Hanks along with Mike Shell. And let me put that thumbnail up real quick. The concern most all of them had on their faces and the windscreen they put up, here we go, that was to block people from seeing them. They didn't want lip readers to see them. Let me get that out of the way. I'll put this up. And I put up there, as you can see by all calculation, there's a big storm coming. Did you see what I put on? Anything else I put in there? I added to the picture besides my orange face. You look at them, what they're looking at. They're looking at something on the table there, and Tom Hanks is at the head of the table, typically a position of control. They have that windscreen hung up behind them to block people from seeing them. And somebody got a picture of him. But anyway, he's not meeting with Joe like has been suspected for the last going on 3 years, either electronically or actually meeting in a skiff in Delaware. Obama leading from the basement in his pajamas like he said he wanted to do. Well, you have this meeting where they all look concerned. They all see what's going on. Then all of a sudden you see Joe's starting to have a bunch of problems. And he's by himself in Delaware. He's not, and Barry O is hanging out with what's on the shirt there, if anybody caught it. They may catch it. Let me check chats. I added it. No, nobody caught it. Haha, Nikki did. But that's what I put on the back of Tom Hanks's shirt. So, yeah. So anyway, they're planning as far as I'm concerned, a change of better. Because the average Joe I keep using the word Joe, but the average person realizes that things are not good and that Trump is not being treated fairly. I showed you the article in the New York Times where they said it's 7 grandchildren, Mr. President. The average woman is saying, what are you doing not recognizing your grandbaby? And where's this next article I had? It was from what I traditionally refer to as excuse my language for being a little rough, but a liberal rag. Let me see. I'll put that up in a second as soon as I find it, but let me put this up. Here you go. In case you want to get a shot of that and spread it around. Hard to argue with that point, right? Here we go. Step aside Joe Biden. I've been calling this a liberal rag for 30 years. The Atlantic. You start seeing articles like this, the one in the New York Times that was criticizing Biden. Then you see this one in the Atlantic. The president has no business running for office at age 80. You see these polls coming out, being posted on CNN. That's 80% of the nation thinks there's a problem. That stuff wouldn't be getting out if King P3DO didn't want it to get out. And Obama. So back to my point. What's the strategy? You're not going to get anywhere with Kamala. I think I know what the strategy may be. They're going to go back to their old playbook. If they get a shot at it, they'll do it. What's the old playbook? The person you want as president, that you want to get out as president, while he's still president, you get rid of the VP. Just like they did with Richard Nixon and Spiro Agnew. They cooked up charges against him for tax evasion for $10,000. Spiro Agnew resigned. Kissinger became acting vice president as Secretary of State. In this case, it would be Anthony Blinken. They blame cocaine. Maybe that's not what they'll do. But this one scenario, they say, well, these fingerprints came back and it was crack and it was her fingerprints. It was Kamala. Don't you all feel terrible for picking on Hunter when he's struggling with his drug habit and you all are doing this to him? But anyway, Kamala Harris has agreed to resign. Tony Blinken steps in as acting vice president because he's Secretary of State. Joe Biden nominates someone to the Senate. And let's not forget, Chuck Schumer is in charge of the Senate. Another person we haven't heard squat from. The Senate approves the new vice president, just like they did Gerald Ford, who was a senator, I believe, from Michigan. Then you get rid of the top dog, just like they did Nixon. Then you get rid of Biden. How do you slip one in? Everybody speculated that would have been Hillary, diddly-do. I'm not saying it's not going to be. But it could be Gavin Newsom. There's a lot of different scenarios with that page from the old playbook. Does that make sense to you all? I think they're going to be looking at Kamala first so they can get Joe's replacement in because, as I said, everybody knows Joe's got to go. Here, Joe, right there. He's got to go. So let me see what's going on in the chats. Group gruesome. Yeah, Joe would pardon Kamala for her. She probably didn't do it, but if she's told, hey, this is what you do, okay? Because the people at the top of this puppet master pyramid, they don't play, okay? They're vicious. We've already heard that from Mr. T a number of times. And Kamala, it comes in the morning. When they rattle her cage, she'll do whatever she's told. Yeah, I know, Nikki, but that's not the way it goes. That's not the way it goes. That's how we end up with Gerald Ford as president and Nelson Rockefeller as his vice president, and not one person ever voted for him. Because when Nixon resigned, Ford became president. Nobody elected him to be president. And then he nominated Nelson Rockefeller, who got approved by the Senate. And you had a president and a vice president. Not one American voted to be in those offices. And then when they lost, Jimmy Carter came in. And that was the beginning of the power of the Muslim Brotherhood and hostages and all that stuff in the Middle East and endless wars. That's right, Debbie. The playbook is known. So, just something to think about, guys. Kamala is being pushed aside, I believe. And something else that's interesting. Whoa, where'd that go? You see here that DOJ considers delaying Hunter Biden's plea hearing. A Delaware federal judge is set to decide whether to accept Hunter Biden's plea deal with prosecutors over 2 tax misdemeanors. Why? Because of the sound of freedom. Because of the article I showed you that's available on the 17th postings that talks about the special agent in charge of child corn that has the laptop, has been going through the laptop, and they tried to make this misdemeanor include everything on the laptop, this plea deal, everything on the laptop. Timing is very important. They can't do that. And Joe can't pardon his son for things he hadn't been charged with yet. So they're trying to wrap it all up in a bundle. They're not going to be able to do it. So it's painful for them. I mean, here we go. Mexican word of the day. Sodas. Haha, get a screenshot of that too. I don't know. Are there any chats showing on my screen, or that didn't happen to me yesterday? Thank goodness. I don't know why that does happen sometimes. Or do I have a clean screen? Olivia. So let me see if we got any new people. Ian said Iran. Yeah, that's when Iran started to rise with the Ayatollah. Something Ahola, people used to call him. So if that situation happens where they throw Kamala under the bus, who do you think Joe would nominate to take her place? I think there's really only 2 choices that are credible for the American people. Because Joe will be out, and whoever Joe nominates to be VP will step up to be the president, and it has to be a credible person that they can con they think they can con the majority of Americans into believing could beat Donald Trump. So it can't be just anybody or nobody. It's got to be a big name. So, and I think the only two out there are Hillary Dillery Do and Gavin Newsom. But do you think Hillary's up for it? Sound of Freedom. Breaking. Sound of Freedom is a smashing success. Projected to earn over $40 million in the opening week. Sound of Freedom has taken on a life of its own. And there's something I want to talk about real quick. When I was talking about that 17 posts, and I talked about that special investigator, okay, that is involved with the Hunter thing right now. Remember, he had a partner that got called out to go to someone's home investigating child PRON, right? And out of the blue, a gunfight erupted. And nobody saw it coming. I mean, they were like unprepared. And he didn't make it, okay? So that might be one reason why they're keeping people like that not very high in the public view right in the past, but they're coming out now mentioning his name. Why? I think they're doing it to protect him, because if everybody knows who he is, everybody knows what he's involved in, it's a lot harder to say, oh, he just got tired of living and did something to himself, right? So that may be why they're bringing this young man out right now that is working with the laptop to protect him. Put him out in the open where it makes it harder for them to just make it a coincidental story that they tell one day and it goes away. But if people start knowing who this person is and something bad happens, well, there's going to be a lot of suspicion. Anyway, let me see here. Oh, God. Listen, I guess I got to put this one up. Yeah. Most everybody in the chats remember this. The media can't hide their bias. The movie about fighting child trafficking gets linked to the 17th letter, while degenerate ones get defended. Most of us know about the movie Cuties, right? If you all will remember, Netflix had to pull that movie down, and we heard that there was some charges being considered for that. So that hadn't been talked about, but I'm just bringing it up just so people don't forget about that. We may not have heard the last of that movie. And I put this on Truth Social right here. And I put on top of it, they probably liked Cuties over Sound of Freedom too. So this is a good little meme to throw out there. And it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue what's more important, a fish on the ground or a human being. The other things I was ranting about last night are very easy to argue. We want to put up stuff that's bright, bold, in their face, hard to argue. If you disagree, you're taking the side of people you don't want to be associated with. Okay, like this here. This is what's starting to get around. Okay, with protests. See what it says on their shirt. See what the sign over to the right says. People are getting sick of this stuff. And it's not going to be very fashionable to continue to support people that are involved in this stuff. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing? Yeah, that's right, Nikki. They're going ballistic because they're being exposed. Quick trials. I tell you what. Oh, by the way, this is a viewer-supported and creator-supported channel only. I don't get anything from any platforms. Just my viewers and my little old self. Here, this game about Netflix. I'll put this one up. So I've got a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. I appreciate it. Buy me a coffee link in the description. So anyway, I almost went a whole hour before I even thought about putting that up. Anyway, this is, let's see. Here's one I was going to put up the other day. This is what they're trying. They're trying to get power. Okay? You're sheltering straight people under the floorboards, aren't you? Ha ha ha. I get in trouble for that Netflix one. Here, I haven't done this in a while. Well, I'll do that at the end. Let's see. So let me see if anybody guesses. Here's another good one. I want to see if anybody guesses who's going to be, who it's going to be if they do throw Kamala under the bus. But here's something for you all to think about. Something we lived through. And we know what happened to the guy on top right. We know what happened to the guy on top right. So let's see. That's right. Outlandish. Human beings are more important than animals of any kind, even though we love our babies, our little baby kitties and puppies. Nobody's making a bet. I'm thinking it's those two people. Henri said DeSantis, that Joe Biden would nominate DeSantis to be his VP. I don't believe that. I don't think that's in the cards, honey. I'm sorry. I don't believe that's in the cards. I think it's either Gavin Newsom or Hillary herself. Oh, wait a second. I forgot a third person. Michelle Obama, right? So there's three choices. Three choices, folks. Unless somebody thinks of another choice. I don't see any other choices. Gruesome Newsom, Jersey Joe said. So anyway, well, maybe somebody will come up with those. There's three. I don't know if anybody can come up with any more. Here we go. This is an older meme. Somebody put it on Truth Social, but it's still good. Can you hear us now? Ha 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 ha. It's Barry's third term, so why not go for 4? Roy says. Were you saying Mike Shell? It's going to be Mike Shell? Oh, everybody say, oh, that's so stunning and brave. Here we go. Here's a meme for you. You own guns to protect yourself from criminals. I own guns to defend myself from the government. We're actually the same. Ha ha ha. Hecklefish Moriarty. I didn't think of that guy. Ha ha. What about Mitt Romney, Mike said. Oh boy, Mitt Romney. I think he would. I think he would destroy his political career. That's already destroyed. I don't know how many of them actually have accepted that, but I think Lindsey Graham has accepted it. But and he's doing as he's told. Because as Mr. T said, he's there when you need him. Here you go. Here's something to cheer you up. I'm sure you've heard about this one too. Ben and Jerry's Indian tribe wants to take back land occupied by Ben and Ferry's Vermont headquarters just days after company called for USA to give back tribal land. Yeah. Give it back, damn it. Well, I've got some other stuff I want to go over about MTG, okay? Lauren Boebert. I think we're all getting on board. Fences are being mended, but I could talk about that another time. This one is it's less than 125 years ago. You didn't have to ask permission from the government to collect rainwater, go fishing, own a property, start a business, build a home, get married, hunt, own a weapon, cut hair, sell a product, protest, sell food. You can do virtually nothing without being extorted by government and obtaining their permission first. If you still think you're free, you're deluding yourself. You're just a free-range human living on a tax farm. Okay, so that's just something for y'all to keep in mind. I appreciate y'all spending your precious time with me. I'm gonna play two little videos to go out. Let's see. I don't want to end with this one because it's got Mr. Putin going boom, boom. So I will play a little music that I think you guys will enjoy at the end. Some country music from kids playing banjos, playing violins, and playing git boxes and fiddles. But anyway, stick around for about 3 minutes. You'll enjoy these 2 videos. They're quick videos. Thank you all very much. I'll be going again live soon. Please hit the subscribe button so you know when I go live next time. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. This is Mountain Man over and out.
You want to play this? Okay. to play with it. Come on. Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.